You're listening to CIUT 89.5 FM. This is Donna G at the 2017 Toronto International Film Festival. Joining me for this interview about the film What Will People Say is the director Iram Haq and the principal star Maria Mozhdah. Ladies, welcome. Well, Iram, welcome back to Toronto.
Thank you so much.
Maria, welcome.
Thank you. I love Toronto.
So I'm actually going to start with you, Maria. Is this your first feature film?
It is my first feature film, yes, and my first festival as well.
How's the festival been for you?
It has been very good, and I've met so many great people, and the vibe in the city is amazing. Like, everybody is embracing the festival. It's amazing, actually.
And getting back to this being your first film, what previous acting had you done?
I have been in a TV show as a child when I was 9, 10. I played an Indian character in a pirate TV show for children. So it was not as serious as this. I just, it's for children.
What was it like transitioning from television to acting for film?
Well, between these two projects, I haven't done anything theatrical, but I've been more into music and arts and painting. So this is actually my first time doing anything within film and theater after the TV show. So it's been a huge gap.
And how do you find acting for the film camera?
I found it very interesting, and I've told the director numerous of the times that I really enjoy myself in front of camera, and I feel comfortable with the director, and I love doing it.
And how did you choose Maria for this principal role?
It was a long journey. We had casting going on for 1.5 years. We looked up everywhere in Scandinavia for finding the right girl. And then Maria came, and she is such a talent, such a great girl, and loved to work with her. And she just came, and it was the right girl. And we have very good chemistry, and we're very close to each other. So it has been a great journey.
Now, your film focuses on aspects of the Pakistani-Norwegian culture. So I'm wondering how many actors and actresses that live in Norway that were also Pakistani did you look for, and what was that challenge like?
It was a big challenge to find enough talents. We had some good talents, but enough. I mean, it's a small country, not so many people. It's 5 million people who lives in Norway, all in all. So of course the group of people were small, and it of course was challenging to find a lot of people, but we had great talents, and Maria was definitely the right one.
Now, the film focuses on teenager Nisha, played by Maria, who is caught between the two cultures. Tell me why you decided to focus on a teenage girl for this film.
It's it's a story between a father and a daughter. So it's from mainly on the daughter's perspective, but we also see what the father goes through. So for me it was important to try to understand these two worlds they come from, and the struggle and the love and the generation gap and the culture gap between these two. So I have a background as a girl as you can understand,
right?
Yeah, so it's easy for me to relate to that, and also my own experience growing up with this kind of background, with Norwegian Pakistani background. So I could easily relate to myself to that, and I started to write out a story about this girl meeting her father in a way.
This is very you're playing pretty close to your age. When you read the script, what did you think about your character of Nisha?
I immediately connected to her in a way, even though the story is not something I've experienced, but I'm familiar with the issue, social control, and it is challenging to be growing up in two different cultures, having one foot in one culture and the other in the other. So, and I wanted to know more. I was curious because I knew that by playing this role or this movie would bring up an issue that should be talked about, and that would make more girls and boys who experience social control. They will understand that this is happening all over the world. They're not alone. This is an invitation for a dialogue, to bring up this issue, talk about it, and make a conversation between the children and the parents. So I was very interested in the character right away, and I was confident in myself, and I thought that if I was given the chance to do this, I would do it, and I would do it with all of my heart.
Maria has great chemistry with the actor who plays the father. I'm sorry, I've forgotten his name. Can you...
Adil Hussain?
Yes. Did you pair them together before you decided to go with both of them?
No, I didn't. I chose Maria for Nisha because I felt that she's the right one for that character, and Adil for being the father because he have the softness and the hard man. He have several layers, which I really find interesting for the father character, and I was sure this was gonna go good together because Maria lives in Norway and Adi lives in India, so it was a long journey.
Now, the film focuses on the fact that Nisha's character has been going out with boys and has been caught. And the father then has to make a decision. I love the conversation that the father has with his friend, where the friend is going, if you don't punish her, then the rest of the community, the kids will see this and they'll start acting out. Iram, for you, is that something that you struggled with, this issue as well of a community and wanting to be true to your community, but at the same time be your own self?
Are you talking about me
for
myself when I was young?
Yeah.
It was such a pressure to be in between two cultures when I grew up, and also I want to try to tell a story where you see the pressure, what the parents goes through of pressure, and the children goes through this pressure, and the whole community is built on this social control. I'm not saying this is just one issue of many. I mean, I'm not saying that all South Asian, all Pakistanis, they have these kind of issues at home. But this, I wanted to dig deep into this problem because I went through this, and many other young people do that. And I think it's important to talk about how this kind of social control, what it does to us, what kind of shame it gives us, how much fear it gives us, how much anxiety it gives, and what kind of evil, stupid things we start to do when we are scared.
Maria, your character of Nisha is kidnapped and taken abroad. What references did you draw upon to communicate how Nisha was feeling?
I personally did not know of any girls that had gone through the exact same thing, but I had heard of incidents like that had happened all over the Europe, pretty recently, but also I was familiar with the problem, social control, and I did not know much about I don't know many girls that have been kidnapped, but I know that many young people, they suffer social control and they experience it. And everyone experiences this differently, and this story is not mine. That the girl that you see on screen is not me, but again, I had to find the character within myself, and for that I had to work very closely with the director, and she was very good at giving me directions and helping me find and develop these feelings, because we all have them, but you just have to find them and put yourself in the situation.
So how Nisha's complimenting you, Iram. How did you work with Nisha? With Maria.
We work very closely, and I try to build up a trust relationship where she can lean on me and I can guide her. So it's a close relationship where we are like almost like a family. And I have the same with the other characters too. It's just about we're making this together. It's about understanding, trust, and emotions, and what we all go through, and try to share something from me, so they can understand what I want, and they, I want them to find it in themselves, their characters.
What I liked and appreciated about your film is, as you said, you showed the reaction of the parents, and it was especially important for me to see the father's reaction, because just like Nisha's caught between the two worlds, so is he, where it's obvious that he loves his daughter. It's like, even though he's doing this horrible thing of sending her back to Pakistan, you can still see that it's something he's thought about really hard, and then he eventually thinks, yes, this is the right thing. What response have you had from audiences about this father character?
I feel like people see that he loves the daughter. They are also frustrated that this is happening, and they are wondering what can they do for changing the situation. That has been what I felt from the audience, that this is the way they see I felt that they opened up a little bit more what the parents are going through as well.
Maria, did you talk to your friends about this issue of social control?
Not exactly the way it is portrayed in the movie, but speaking with my friends, many of them, they're Norwegians, but still they do experience social control, but at a much smaller, what's the word? Smaller level, lower level. And I don't think many young people are aware of this, that especially, children from immigrants and with children that have multicultural parents and another background, maybe it is not, people are not as aware of it, that, some young people, they have issues at home, that they have to pendle back and forth between two worlds. So it's not something I've talked that much about with my friends, because it hasn't been the topic, and it's not something we've been talking about actually. But my friends, I just do mention that they've been very supportive, and they're like, this is so good that you're doing this, because it's an important theme and topic. So they have definitely become more aware of this after me playing in this movie.
Has the film screened in Norway?
It have premiere in October, so it's not been screened yet.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see what the audience there thinks about. Now, the film deals with the Norwegian Pakistani community, but the themes are very universal wherever you go, wherever there are parents from other countries and cultures. In watching the film, I can definitely see the same sort of pressures my friends had growing up. I had friends who were Greek and Italian, and the expectations on the girls in particular to behave a certain way. Did you have this in mind as well, this universal theme, or did you mainly think specific to Norway and the Pakistani community?
Well, I had in my mind this is universal. I know this is universal because I'm very, very, it really engaged me, this subject. So I read a lot. I did a good research while I was writing this story. I wrote it for years, and I think we don't want to lose our children. We don't want to lose our girls, and we don't want to lose our boys. And I don't want anymore to get social controlled. And of course, it happens, and I think it will help to start to talk about this and have a dialogue. And I hope this film can open up for dialogues between parents and children.
Definitely, because I see it a lot where parents come to, let's say, the West, and they come because they want the best for their children. But at the same time, they're not prepared either for the changes that they're going to see, and it's like they're trying to hold on to their culture, but they want their kids to succeed.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it is very well portrayed in the movie as well, that the father speaks to her daughter that I did this, and it's that he tells her all the difficulties that he went through along the journey, and also this is very informative for the Western world and also the Norwegians to understand the father and not just portray him as a bad, evil man, even though he does bad things, even though he's driven by the fear. We understand, we get the idea of what is going through in his mind, in his perspective. Do you want to add?
Yes, I would like to add that on one hand, the parents, they do a lot for the children, but the second generation of immigrants, they have a lot of to carry on their shoulders, because they know what the parents have done for them. But on the other hand, they are growing up in another culture. They are a part of another society, and then they have to balance these two worlds, and that's a lot of struggle for the young people to handle what the parents have given them, and they are so thankful that they almost have to put themselves aside for giving to please their parents, because they have done this. So this is something I'm also trying to show, that Nisha understands somehow that the parents have done all this for her, but at the same time she is a part of the Norwegian society, so she should just be a Norwegian girl.
Yeah, difficult situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the look of the film, I noticed that there was a lot of barriers with Nisha in terms of just the space that she's in. It almost looks like she's in jail. Was that deliberate?
Yes, it's an emotionally jail. It is.
Did you pick up on that when Iram was filming?
I think the room that Nisha is locked in, it's a more visual way. It's visualizing the feeling, the sensation of a jail. So the audience, it kind of makes the situation even stronger, watching her, hanging from the window, trying to get out, and she's desperate to get out. Yeah.
I think another thing that's communicated well in the film is this the depression that this social control causes on both sides. The feeling of defeat that Nisha experiences, and the feeling of frustration that the father experiences. In terms of mental health in with this social control, do you see anything happening in terms of that within the community?
Well, I don't know exactly that, but I will guess there will be one thing is depression, but also anxiety and trauma. It's hard to leave your comfort zone. It's hard to live a life which is expected from you or not expected. I mean, life is a struggle for everyone, and I don't know exactly what's coming out of this situation in other communities or in the Norwegian Pakistani communities, but I guess it's hard to lose your children, and it's hard to leave your family, or it's hard to do what you want to do when your parents don't agree about that. That's very hard, because children are loyal to their parents, but still they have to, in a way, break free to be themselves.
You have the family services come in and speak to the family. Did you do research in terms of how that system works?
Yes, I did. I did a good research, because I think it's important to portray everything as much as I can, true as it can be. I tried to do that, and I wanted to know how they do this, how they deal with this problem today and not for 20 years ago. So yes, I did.
And also, can I just add that this is just, it also shows that even though this family, they have issues in Norway. You know, there are problems between the parents and and Nisha. You see that when she gets in Pakistan, you know, the family she's put in there at her uncle's, they don't have these problems. They're living a happy life because that is what they are used to. And this is what the movie is all about, you know, getting out of your comfort zone, being put in a place where you don't belonging. It's a lot about belonging. And it's, I empathize with many young people that are required to be categorized. You know, Nisha is expected to be, you know, to behave a certain way, even though she feels something different. And this question goes on to other young people that are required to say that I belong to this community or to that. I think we should just let young people be the way they are. And it's, you know, it's difficult enough to be balancing two different cultures, two different worlds. You know, they should be themselves and not say I am Norwegian. You know, we are everything.
Yeah, I work with teenagers, and the scene, people watching the movie might think, okay, she got in trouble in Norway, and then she goes to Pakistan and she gets in trouble again. But it was real to me because I've literally told a teenager, please don't do this. And then they go ahead and still do it. So,
Yeah.
So that part was very real for me. Have you worked with teenagers?
Well, I have worked with teenagers. Yes, I have several times, and I also have a son who is 21 now. So yes, I know the pattern, and I've been a teenager by myself. But that's, I think it's good to be a teenager and just do what you have to do.
Yeah.
It's a part of being a teenager.
Right, because you're also learning.
Yeah.
But Maria, you brought up an interesting point of the fact that the family in Pakistan, everything is normal. And Iram, you show that with Nisha's little cousin, where she's just happy to see her cousin,
Yeah.
and she's going, you want to do this? Let's do
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And it doesn't even occur to her to even think the way Nisha does.
Exactly. You know, people are living normal lives over there. They're not cruel people. It's just that the different cultures are where they're very scared of maybe. It just seems so much. How do I say it? It's something foreign.
Yeah, but it's for us well. I mean, being from a Western country, it feels so far away. Pakistan, India, whatever, Sri Lanka. I mean, it's the same for them over there. So it's two different worlds, and teenagers are teenagers anywhere. If you also the cousin she falls in love with, he's also just a teenager.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much,
Thank you.
ladies, for doing this interview, and success with the film.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.